I gotta find it.
Yes. All right, call to order for the May 31st Apex Parks Recreation and Cultural Resources Advisory Commission. Thank you all for coming. I will start with a invocation, so just bow your heads for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right, now for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Okay, next is the approval of last month's meetings. Do we have any discussion or questions, comments, or motion to approve?
Motion approved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. Next, we've got Craig.
So we got introductions. So we will start out with Angela.
We know Angela.
Hey, Angela.
I don't have much to say, but can I tell them the other good news?
You can take over all the what I was considering.
Oh, I don't need to take over all of it.
Hey, Craig's thunder.
But our master plan was adopted as of May 23rd. We have the official documents in-house, and we're working on getting a web page up with all the chapters and all the maps and everything. So you guys spent plenty of time, and I appreciate all your help. And good news is we have till 2023 or 2033 to get all of that implemented, right?
I was like, whoa. Lots
of money to
We
spend.
need some more funding.
So obviously we're very excited about that. So during that process, you guys had some contact with Rachel Bergman, who was with us as an intern from the NC State Masters in Landscape Architecture program. And so she has graduated and is moving on to her future. We don't know exactly what that is yet, but we were sad to see her go. And since then, we have now added 2 new interns for the next year. The first is Lauren Briley. Do I say that right?
Hey, Lauren.
She is a landscape architecture first year finished in that program. And then Michelle Pendergrass, who is at UNC in the planning program. So we're balancing out a little bit of 2 different programs. And I've told them that this is a wealth of resources here because we have so many experts in the field. And both of them have prior park experience. So they've worked out in programming and events and out in parks doing other types of projects. So they are ready to dive in and help us out. And we finished 2 weeks in 3 days. So they're on board and ready to go. So anyway.
Welcome.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome.
If you want to add anything, you're more than welcome to come up. It's up to you. Okay.
Sure.
Jason.
I've got 2 folks here tonight. If y'all would like to stand and maybe even come up if you would like to introduce yourselves.
Yeah, come on up. Introduce yourself. Yeah.
We'll start with Joanne. This is Joanne Miller. She's one of our part-time benefited folks working the front desk over at the John Brown Community Center. How long have you been here? Probably
4 months.
4 months. There you go. So go ahead.
All right, so my name is Joanne Miller. We are 29-year residents of Apex. We came from Cary, Illinois. We decided not to move to Cary, North Carolina, because we thought we'd never see our mail again. So we moved to Apex, and we love Apex. All my kids started in Parks and Rec. I have 3 kids, and I love my job. I love what I do. Apex is a great town. So thank you for having me. Yeah, my son plays hockey at NC State.
Welcome.
Oh, Joanne, you helped my son out trying to get his little community center card like a month or so ago. Remember, the card reader wouldn't work or something. Yeah. You were so great.
And got me a dog
Oh,
pass after I lost the dog pass.
Yeah. And Tom, our kids played soccer together, and they were like, what, 7 or 8?
I feel left out.
Joanne knows about, I feel like Joanne knows about 75% of the people that walk into the community center on a first name basis. So that was definitely a good hire. And this is Laura Hargis. Laura Hargis is our full-time customer service representative at the Apex Senior Center. If you've been to the Senior Center anytime recently, she is the face of the Senior Center, handles all of the rentals that take place over there. Laura, you want to come say hi?
Hi, I'm Laura Hargis. I started in October and I came from Wake Med where I worked for 14 years. I did campus police and mammography, and I also ran our volunteer senior program there for mammography. So,
Welcome. Wow.
And I'd like just to say that she's an absolute wonderful asset to the senior center. She's just been terrific with us and
Hey.
provides an awful lot of help.
Patrick. That's a new face.
I don't want to block anyone. Hi, so I have one new employee. This is Mallory Marshburn. She is our new customer service representative at Pleasant Park. So haven't seen her face in public facing much yet because we're not open, but she'll be out there with our team of 4 out at the field house at Pleasant Park when she comes online. So we're excited to have her. You want to say anything about your background?
Yeah, you can't break the.
Was born and raised in Fuquay, did App State and NC State and Recreation, and so I'm happy to be back 6 years out west. So really looking forward to getting some roots on the ground here, and just really excited for Pleasant Park to open up. So appreciate all you guys' work having it open. So
I was gonna say, and when are you getting?
I don't know. I'm gonna sit down, but
You learned well from you, Craig.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, right.
Thank y'all.
Welcome.
Y'all are welcome to stay for the rest of it, or y'all can head out.
We release you. There's nothing on the agenda, so.
So, the next guest speaker we have tonight is Mr. Alan Coleman, the town.
Thank you.
clerk.
Thank you.
Yes. Come on up.
Bye. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you leave, Angela. Bye.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Nice to see you all again. Craig and I had been talking about the appointment process, and so I just wanted to just make a face with a name. Most of you know me, but just talk through kind of the changing that are going on in the clerk's office and how we're streamlining the appointment process and what the changeover in terms, the chair, vice chair process looks like now. So is that right? Yep. Okay. Because I know most of your terms reset in June, going into July. And so we've got 3 of you that are up for or either eligible for reappointment. I believe that's Mary Lee, Tom, and then Alan as well, should you choose to seek reappointment. The way it's been working in the past is a recommendation would either come from staff and then go to the mayor, which is not always, I feel like transparent. Because in some cases, the member wishes to be reappointed and sometimes they don't. And so at this stage in the process, what we're starting to do is have a broader conversation so that all of the board members know who wishes to seek reappointment, who does not wish to seek reappointment, and then a recommendation comes from the chair of that committee based on an agenda item at that meeting, and it goes to the mayor. Then it goes back to council. Because at the end of the day, the recommendation comes from the mayor. Council makes the final decision. Normally, historically, it's gone on consent. Someone wants to be reappointed. They're serving well. They're meeting all of the attendance requirements. There's really no reason not to reappoint them. But we're just looking at the process, and right now it's a recommendation from staff, which puts staff in an awkward position, especially if someone is not meeting an attendance requirement, so we're just trying to streamline that. So that's the first phase of this, and that's kind of the reappointment and appointment process. Should someone not seek reappointment, that would create a vacancy on the board. We have kind of 2 approaches to that. One, a member of the community can apply, depending on the position. If it's an ETJ position, of course, they have to meet that requirement. If it's a corporate limit position, they have to meet that requirement as well. We do that vetting process in the clerk's office. At that stage in the process, we also have where folks can apply at any point in time. So right now, we could have people that are applying to serve on Parks and Rec Board. We make contact with them and let them know that we have no vacancies at this time, but their application will stay on file for 1 year. So that's kind of where we are right now. Should someone not seek reappointment, then we have a vacancy. We advertise that vacancy because we, may have people in the community that don't know how to apply and don't know what the Parks and Rec Board does. So we do that advertisement, we do that recruitment. We just started doing that about 6 months ago with the Planning Board, Board of Adjustment, some of the other boards that have had that turnover. We recruit, we vet those applications. The applications that are received, we put before you all first. So you all see who has applied, you can have that discussion in open session and then make recommendations based on that. Any questions?
If Alan tries to reapply come June, can we vote against him? Theoretically asking for a friend. No,
Did you choose?
my point would be
Text
there.
me if he emails you about
Would there be open discussion among the board to say that Alan is reapplying, he is asked, do we then would discuss in front of him as to what we want to do? Okay. I'm not saying we're voting against Alan, that's, Alan took it the way I hoped he would.
think this would occur at the June meeting.
Correct.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And that's why we want to make sure that you are all prepared for that discussion. Because in June, you'll not only be discussing who is eligible and wishes to be reappointed, but you'll also be making recommendations for who serves as your chair and your vice chair. Because again, that has been kind of a staff-led process. And again, that puts them in an awkward position because really it's a discussion, hey, do you want to continue to serve? Other board members don't have an opportunity. The mayor is going.
It's only a year appointment.
In the
This
past,
is my 6th year on the board.
But as chair,
Yeah.
co-chair.
Chair,
Yes.
co-chair a year.
Yep.
Not
but in the past, the mayor has always
been there, done that.
recommended.
I'm done.
I think once you serve, you get to go back.
The ordinance says that the chair recommends, council confirms.
The mayor recommends.
That's where this language gets tricky because chair and vice chair for most resident advisory boards, the mayor, for chair, vice chair, the mayor recommends, council confirms.
So the chair and vice chair would recommend for this committee. Is that what you're saying?
For this committee, the entire committee would make a recommendation for who they want to be their chair.
We have no say in the chair, vice chair.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All of us
But the
do.
mayor,
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So if you wish to return as chair, you would petition your colleagues to reconsider you to be reappointed for chair.
Bring donuts.
And this process has gone very smoothly. I mean, we did have, some no votes to chairs returning, but not a majority, so they returned.
2 questions.
Yes.
Are you putting in term limits?
That's another discussion that we have not got to yet.
Okay.
But yes,
So currently it's 3 years. Still, it's going to stay 3 years, or is that going to change also?
3, 2, and 1.
we're discussing
Still
that.
discussing.
So all that's up in the air.
We're just trying to consolidate a lot of the processes. Certain boards have kind of done their own thing. Some have followed the ordinance, some have not. Some fall under the UDO, some don't. So that's a process that the clerk's office is really trying to streamline and bring in-house and really try to figure out what's the best practice. Because right now, we don't have an attendance policy. So if someone chooses to not attend some meetings, attend others, the language is,
ours does.
We do.
Ours does.
We're in the ordinance. We have one, and I think the way is if you miss 3 consecutive unexcused absences, the mayor or the staff rep can
Correct.
recommend you are gone.
but that's your board, not
That's what
all
I'm
the
saying.
boards.
That's right. You're right.
We do what we do.
But we're controlled by.
They need to follow what we do, is what you're saying.
Well,
We're the standard.
perhaps.
I did
perhaps.
vote on them just following all of our practices.
Which may be good, and we have some boards that receive stipends, some that don't. So we're trying to figure out. Now, you could choose to say, hey, I don't wish to receive one. But we have some board members that were never even offered it. So, again, there's just inconsistencies.
We've been on this board.
How about the
No, didn't we
public
get offered a
art,
stipend? We all
I feel like we got offered a
We
stipend.
did.
we did. I know at least some of us, or I don't know if we did it as a group or all of us just said no
I think we
or
all just said no, but-
donated or yeah.
But the idea is that we would have that in writing
Consistency.
and that every year when there's reappointments that's being considered, you all can make that decision.
That makes sense.
And it's kind of awkward when you do it in a group setting, related to stipends, right? Even though it's public record,
Sure.
one person that may really need that stipend doesn't feel comfortable when their colleagues are saying, no, I don't.
Right.
So we want to be sure that we're offering it to folks and that they feel comfortable either accepting it or declining it.
Makes total sense.
Question, the Public Art Committee is a subcommittee of this committee. Is that, I know we talked a little bit about that, maybe moves or doesn't or whatever. Has that progressed or no?
It has not, but that is because we're looking at all boards. So right now, that would be pulling public art kind of as a standalone, but that's one consideration. There's also other boards that we're looking at. Is their function really true to what they're doing? And can we consolidate some boards? Do we need to create other new boards? So by breaking out public art, we really want to make sure that we don't need to touch any of our other 8 boards, because if we do, then we can have that discussion at the same time.
Sounds like there's a fair amount still to work through. What's the timeline on figuring all that part out?
We have a rules committee. So council has various committees: planning committee, personnel committee, rules committee. We have a rules committee in June. So that's a discussion item for them to consider, if that it's even something they have an appetite for.
Okay.
We have feedback from staff. We've collected recommendations from other communities. So it looks promising that it'll probably be broken out, but I never make assumptions to what anybody will do.
Okay.
Does that help?
Thanks, yeah.
And if you wanted to be reappointed, the application is out there currently.
Correct. Mm-hmm. If you wish to be reappointed.
And you've already reapplied, I think. Have you reapplied yet?
I have.
Yep. So that's the first thing. The second thing is talking through the chair vice chair process. That will be by ballot. So you'll make a nomination, you'll write down your nomination, we'll announce the nominations, then we'll go to vice chair. And again, that's a recommendation. And we'll talk through that at the June meeting. We'll give clear instructions. You'll have those in advance. If you have questions, we'll talk through that. And this is similar, if any of you all watched the council member appointment, that was done by ballot, and that was done voice vote, and they wrote it on their ballot. So if you watch that, that will be a good reference.
All 8 rounds, or whatever it was, 10 rounds, whatever it took them.
It's a conclave.
It was
I would
like
not
Congress.
encourage that.
It was like Congress.
Conclave, like the
Oh yeah, the Pope.
selected
Yeah,
group.
exactly. White smoke, black
Right,
smoke.
right.
Sorry.
So this will be the first time this group's ever done it this way.
Yes.
What brought about that change?
Just the inconsistencies amongst all boards, but also just the lack of transparency amongst the members. You know, we had a board in particular where the chair wished to return as chair, the vice chair was rolling off, and so that left a vacancy in the vice chair role. One member who was a senior member was interested in that role but was not offered that role. The chair and staff recommended somebody else, and so that senior member came to the clerk's office, came to elected officials and said, hey, why am I not being considered for the vice chair role? You know, and the reasons given were not validated by any other board member. And then most of the board members were like, hey, I didn't even know this was a discussion. If it was a thing, we weren't told. So
That makes sense.
It makes great sense. No,
Yeah.
I
Good.
applaud the effort. Yeah.
Yes. But
That work?
until I'm not chair, I'm Alan number 1. You're Alan number 2. Then you can go up to Alan.
that's only because he's in the seat right now.
Right now. Wait till he hits the gavel.
Being recorded, yes.
The gavel goes down.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Is there anything else? Is there any feedback that you have for me?
Applaud your effort. That's good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Is there anything else you're hearing, you're seeing that we can improve upon? That's a scary thing to ask.
You're doing a great job.
Shorten the council meetings.
Try my best.
No, I'm just kidding.
I facilitate them. I put it all together.
Thank you for updating your online agendas for the council meetings.
Yes.
It's much easier to
You're
navigate.
doing a very good job.
But we're about to change platforms.
Of course.
Of course.
But the idea is that all boards, so Parks and Rec, Housing, Council, everybody will be in one database, one system. You can search by text. If you search master plan, it'll pull up where it was at in any board. So, okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank
Thank you,
y'all.
Alan.
Thank you for what you
Seriously.
do. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan.
All All right. Craig, do you have anything?
I'll add a few things.
Sure.
Angela talked about the master plan. I'll talk about Beaver Creek. It was advertised today. That's the section from Kelly Road to the nature park. So, and bid openings will be June 22nd. So if we don't get 3 bids on June 22nd, then we've got to wait 21 more days, put it back out, and we'll see what happens after that. So that's Beaver Creek. Middle Creek, we had a construction meeting, a pre-construction meeting on May 25th. Didn't want to get the date wrong. And my hope is that we start construction as of August. That would be the hope for Middle Creek. And Pleasant Park, Hunter Street rezonings were approved at council on 5/23. So those are my updates.
Pleasant Park opening date?
Update on Pleasant Park.
Pleasant Park opening. Always a painful question. But CSX, we do hope that they're going to be there in June, at some point in June, whether it's second week, third week of June, to handle the work that they have to handle. I really hope it'll be open at some point in August.
Is that the holdup? Is CSX?
That's part of it.
As
We've
the
got some.
pouring
It has
sounds,
been
by the
a
way.
big piece of it, but we've got some things. We still got to get COs for buildings and different things like that. So you never know what you're going to run into with planning when it comes to that side of things.
Did we resolve and you may have answered this, around the signage and the zoning, or is that?
Yeah, that was in the rezoning.
Okay.
And the roadways aren't complete either, so.
Right. So they'll be taken care of by that point.
I will say it was nice.
I'm hoping August.
It was nice to see the park, and when I got whatever that Apex magazine.
Yeah,
Suburban
exactly.
Apex.
Yeah.
That was
Though
awesome.
a few neighbors didn't ask me when's it going to open, knowing I'm on the board.
Oh, do they? Well, they asked if they could go ahead and do the article, and I knew that people would start asking questions, and I feel like we're getting really close to it, so we went ahead and gave them the information because I really do feel like we'll be out there in August, at least that's my hope. I can't confirm that, but that is the hope.
That's gonna be a question if you can host fall sports out there.
That's the hope.
The goal.
That's the goal.
Okay.
That's the goal.
Is there anything we could do as a committee to support y'all, or talking points if people do start reaching out? Like, if it does, you start to get pushback, or?
Not
yet.
really at this point.
Okay.
I mean, CSX was a big deal at first because we still got to get signaling up and the work around the tracks, and we still got pavement to do. And then there's stuff internally that we have to take care of. The splash pad, there's a lot of work to still be done on the splash pad. The original contractor just bolted, and so now we've got somebody coming back and to do the work. But so that's a piece of it. But who's to say we couldn't partially open it without a splash pad, right?
Splash pad, right.
So, I mean, really, the turf fields have been ready for play for, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. It's just when you've got a construction site, you can't do that, right? So, I really do hope, and my goal, our goal is for it to be open at least by the end of summer. So, that's probably a better way to put it, by the end of summer.
Sure.
Thank you, Craig.
That's all I got.
Yeah, appreciate all you're doing around
Thank you. Yep. All right, moving on. I've got nothing. Do we have any public comment? I don't see any. There's no old business or new business. So do I hear a motion
So moved.
to adjourn? Do I hear a
Adjourn.
second? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.